Hey sweet friends, welcome back to the Lucy Chronicles. If you're new here, hello, my name is Lucy and today I will be sharing my April wrap-up. I read 9 books this month. I had 1 DNF, I had 1 3-star, I had 1, 2, 3, 4 stars, and I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. You guys, it was a really solid reading month for me. I think I'm going to start with the DNF, and then we'll talk about the 3-star, then we'll talk about the 4s, then we'll talk about the 5s. Okay, so let's jump right in. So the book that I DNF'd, Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Hey sweet friends, it's Editing Lucy here, and I just wanted to throw out a quick disclaimer because I'm about to say some pretty harsh things about this book and about this author, and I just want to let you know that these are my opinions, okay? We're all entitled to our own opinions. If you disagree with me, that's okay. You can like Sarah J. Maas, you can like this book, and we're allowed to disagree. I'm just sharing my opinion, so please just know that I'm not trying to offend anyone, and I'm not even saying that Sarah J. Maas is a bad author or a bad writer, and that nobody should like her, or that she sucks, or anything like that. I don't like that we have to put those disclaimers out there, because I think it's common sense, but I do just want to throw that out there and say, if you like Sarah J. Maas, that's okay. It's okay. I just don't. So, there we go. I was bored. I actually got a good part of the way through this book. I think I got to chapter 30 or something like that. I really don't understand the appeal in her writing. She's very hyped, she's very beloved, and I don't see it. I don't see it. I will not be continuing with this series. I'm over it. I'm just over it. There was nothing wrong with this contextually. Like, there was no swearing. There really wasn't any bumping and grinding. It was fine. I think part of the problem is that I am not a fantasy girly. I do not like fantasy. It is actually an anti-buzzword for me. Yeah, Sarah J. Maas is just not for me, and that was a huge DNF. And we're going to be here for 800 years if I talk about all the books this long. I am sorry. Let's move on. The next book I want to talk about is the only 3-star book that I read this month. Dear Henry, Love, Edith. Hey guys, Editing Lucy again. I just realized that I never told you guys what Dear Henry, Love, Edith is about, so I'm going to just give you a really quick synopsis. Dear Henry, Love, Edith follows Henry, who is a 30-something-year-old bachelor living in a small town, and he's taken over his family business. And he lives in this huge house all by himself. And his niece, Kat, who's like only 2 years younger than him, has been emailing and conversing with this woman named Edith on the internet. I think they're like in a Christian chat group or something like that. I'm not 100% sure what the connection is between Edith and Kat. If you read it and you remember, let me know in the comments. But Edith is a 30-something widow who is going to be going over to Africa on like a missions trip to be a nurse as a volunteer. And she has taken a temporary job in the small town that Henry lives in while she waits for all the paperwork to process. Kat offers up her house to Edith because Kat's going to be gone during the time that Edith is in town. You know, kind of like Airbnb or something like that, except that she's not going to charge her. And something happens last minute. I think there's like mold infestation or a pipe burst or something. She tells Edith that she's not able to let her stay there anymore, but she has convinced her uncle to let her stay at his place on the upper level until the repairs have been made. And Edith is under the impression, just based on how Kat describes Henry to her, that he is an elderly old man. Elderly and old mean the same thing, I'm sorry. And Henry is under the impression that Edith is an elderly woman. I was about to say elderly old woman. It's the mistaken identity trope, or the you've got mail trope. And Henry just requests that unless she needs to use the laundry facilities or the kitchen, that she stay on the upper level. And so, yeah. I laughed out loud a lot. There were points where I thought it was very, very cute. I love the trope. The you've got mail trope is one of my favorite tropes to read. I also loved the little town, like the little small town gossip cast of characters. I thought that they were adorable. It's such a little idyllic setting. I also really appreciated being able to see the letters written in Henry's handwriting and Edith's handwriting. I thought that was really cute and really fun. I guess my biggest thing that I couldn't get over is the deceit. I really did not like that Henry lied to her about who he was. I can't get over it. I just feel like a relationship that's based on a lie like that, I can't root for that. I just can't. This book really confused me. It really confused me. I had to play Switzerland, and I just gave it 3 stars, you guys, because I just can't decide how I feel. One other thing I will mention, I feel that there wasn't enough Christian faith content in this story to warrant calling it a Christian book. I know it was sprinkled in there a little bit, but I feel like if you're going to call it a Christian book, there should be more Christian principles in it. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm going to walk away from this book. We're going to just stop talking about it. It was only 3 stars for me. Please don't come at me. I love you all. The Magician's Nephew by C.S. Lewis. Guys, this was 4 stars for me. This book shocked me so much. I was not expecting to like this as much as I did. I don't know what took me so long to read this. I started this in March. This is not a hard read. It's a kid's book. I think the reason I didn't give it 5 stars is because I felt a little bored in some places. It was mostly at the beginning. And I think that's why it took me a while to finish it, because the beginning part of the book was a little slow for me. Once we hit the pool with the rings, and we got the queen involved, I did not think that we were gonna see Aslan in this book, but we do, and I loved that. But once we got to specifically the scene where Diggory and Polly are start jumping from pool to pool with the rings, that is when I really became invested in this story. I thought that this was so good. I think the reason it shocks me is because it's fantasy. People have been telling me my whole life, you haven't read Chronicles of Narnia? Why? Why? Because it's fantasy. But it's Christian. Yeah, but it's still fantasy. I really liked it. I really did. I've seen The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the movie, but I was always kind of confused about where this wardrobe came from. How did it come to be? All of that. What was the curse put on it? And so I really appreciated that this kind of gave me the backstory and kind of laid the foundation for the wardrobe out for me. So very, very good 4-star read. In Search of a Prince by Tony Shiloh. We follow Brielle, who is a teacher in New York City, and she finds out that she is the long-lost princess to this village, this island off the coast of Africa. And her grandfather, the king, has taken ill, and he's actually on the precipice of death. He is going to die. And Brielle is next in line to take the throne. However, in order to do so, she needs to get married. She needs to marry a prince, hence the title. I have to say, my favorite thing about this book is the faith content. Tony Shiloh, where have you been my whole life? This story broke me. It was very close to 5 stars for me, you guys. My reason for not giving it 5 stars is probably very petty, but I feel that the title is very deceiving. It's very deceiving because this story is really less about Brielle trying to find a dude to marry, a prince dude, and so much more focused on Brielle deciding if she wants to be a princess and accept the throne, And B, if she does accept the throne, what does that mean for her? What's it going to do to her relationship with her best friend? What's it going to do to her relationship with her mom? What's it going to do to her relationship with Jesus? Because she is a believer in this book. And I don't have a problem with that. I actually loved that. The story was beautiful. I just feel that the story doesn't reflect the title. Think of Princess Diaries with Christian themes added to it. That is exactly what this is. It is beautiful. I know that there's another book. I think it's about her bestie and her arc there, and I'm here for it. I'm here for anything that Toni Shiloh wrote, and honestly. If I'm being candid with you guys, when you all were talking about like the celebrity romances that she's written, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was not interested at all, because the celebrity trope is kind of one of my least favorite tropes. But after reading this, I'm here for it. I'm just here for it, and I want to read it, everything that she's written. I'm not gonna lie to you, she might be an auto read author for me. So good. If I Run by Terry Blackstock. This book follows Casey and Dylan. They are our two main characters. Casey is on the run from the law, like she's a fugitive, because she walks in to find her best friend murdered, and her DNA is all over the crime scene. We have Dylan, who is ex-profiler from the army, I believe. Military, one of the military branches. He served in Iraq or Afghanistan. I can't remember. I'm sorry. This was one of the first books I read in April. The victim's parents have hired him to apprehend Casey. And the police and the FBI and all of the like officials have given him permission, but they see him as a bounty hunter, and that's it. Well, Dylan, God bless his soul, he thinks that something is off about this. He is not convinced that everything is as it seems. He isn't 100% convinced that Casey is guilty. And so he starts snooping around and asking questions. Also, there is relatively zero romance in this first book. There better be romance in these next two books, specifically between Dylan and Casey, or I am gonna have some issues. I would have a lot of issues, y'all. Don't spoil anything, but I'm just warning you. If there isn't some romance happening between those two by the end of the series, I'm gonna be upset. I'm gonna be real upset. But it is really good. I cannot wait to see Casey's salvation story. I better get Casey's salvation story because I'm anticipating it, and it's so good. It's probably like 4.75 to 5 stars, mostly because I didn't get any of that like romantic tension, the chemistry between Casey and Dylan. I didn't get any of that, and I was really hoping that they would have at least sprinkled a little bit in, and I didn't get any of it, and I'm really sad about that. But there better be in the second book. That's the only reason. Otherwise, it's 5 stars. I can't wait. And I will definitely let you guys know. All That Really Matters by Nicole Deese. You guys, this was actually in my Southern Charm Readathon TBR for May. Because when I filmed that, I hadn't even started it yet. I picked this up last minute on like the 28th or the 29th of April. And I read it in like 3 hours. You guys, this was such an easy 5 stars for me. I cried so much. Oh my gosh, I cried. I mean, I'm a baby. I cry about everything, so that shouldn't surprise you. But this book follows Molly, who is a social media influencer in the fashion and beauty industry. Yeah, she has like 600,000 subscribers. It's insane. Her manager turned boyfriend has signed her up to audition for this reality show. It's a makeover show for America's underprivileged youth. And her manager is positive that she would be like the perfect host for it. And so he signs her up to audition. And in order to prepare for this, he signs her up to volunteer at this center for aged out foster kids. And basically just like counsel and mentor them, specifically the females in the house. So when she goes to interview, she meets Silas, who is the program's director, and he is not as taken with her as her followers are. And initially she doesn't get the position, but then eventually she convinces him. It's really a story about vanity and self-image and like what all that really matters. It made me think, and just seeing myself through the Lord's eyes and seeing other people through the Lord's eyes. And it's, oh, it is just so good. The faith content was brilliant. The romance was so good. It was such an easy 5 stars to get. Stay With Me by Becky Wade. This was so good. I bawled my stinking eyeballs out. This story is about Genevieve. She is a social media influencer as well, but she writes Bible studies, and she goes around the country talking about Jesus. And a lot of her Bible studies have been published, and she's got like hundreds, like just like Molly, and all that it takes, or all that really matters, all that it takes is the second book. Just like Molly, she's got like a huge following on social media. However, she is addicted to oxycodone. Such a beautiful story of God's forgiveness, of his unconditional love, and that like no matter what we do, no matter how badly we screw up, he still loves us, and he still takes us back with open arms. And I hope that doesn't spoil anything. I don't think it does. It's such an impactful story. Please go read it. It's so good. It was such easy 5 stars. Dangerous Beauty by Melissa Jocelyn, however you pronounce it. We follow Liliana, who is an illegal immigrant from Mexico who has been bought into human trafficking here in the United States. And she has a chance encounter with this man named Merrick at this gas station, and he helps her escape. It's a marriage of convenience trope. The romance, the faith content. Oh, it's so beautiful. I cried so hard over this story. It's just beautiful. Liliana's faith is very akin to Job's. Like Job from the Bible. Her faith is it's so beautiful. It's so good. I really can't say more than that. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's beautiful, and I may or may not have already added this to cart on Amazon. I'm gonna plead the fifth. The only book from the pile of possibilities from my April TBR that I actually read, and that is Emma by Jane Austen. Here's the anthology that I have. It's not the prettiest, but it's still all of her 7 novels, complete and unabridged. Okay then. A reread for me. I have read Emma before. I love it so much, you guys. Dare I say I like this better than Pride and Prejudice. Please don't come at me. I love Pride and Prejudice. It's not that I don't like it. I really, really do. I have such a connection to this book. And I think that, this is going to sound really silly, but I think the reason I'm so attached to this is because I know that Clueless is based off of it. I know that's so silly, but I love Clueless. It's like one of my favorite movies from the 90s. But also the Gwyneth Paltrow adaptation, it's so beautiful. I love Gwyneth Paltrow. Equally love the character that they cast to play Knightley. I love Knightley so much. Again, dare I say, I like him more than Darcy. I don't really have a reason, you guys, because Pride and Prejudice is beautiful. I really do think it's because of Clueless. But this was a 5 star. I can't really rank her. I don't feel right trying to compare all of these other books that I read this month to Emma. I just don't think it's fair because she is obviously the queen of the month. Like, she is the best book I read this month, bar none. Jane Austen takes the cake. Books I read this month were phenomenal. I am so thankful and grateful to have experienced these stories. Ugh. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words, you guys. I'm at a loss for words. I think that we should just take a break. Okay, so Katie's Readathon over at Paperbacks and Ponytails. The Shower Me with Flowers Readathon. This went on the entire month of April. And what she did here is so clever. She reached out to 10 different Christian fiction authors, asked them their favorite flowers, and then she created reading prompts off of those flowers. So if you want any more information about the authors or about how she came up with these prompts or anything else about the Readathon, I'll link Katie's original announcement video down below. Please go bless her with a sub. She's so adorable and so sweet, and her heart for Jesus is just so kindred and genuine, and I just really appreciate her channel so much. She's got such a beautiful heart, so please go bless her with a sub. But yeah, all her information will be linked down below if you want any more information. But yeah, for the sake of time, I'm just going to quickly run through the prompts and then tell you what books I used for each prompt. So the first prompt is Magnolias, a character who is royalty. So for this one, I used In Search of a Prince by Tony Shiloh. The second prompt is White Roses, a book with a married couple as the main characters. For this one, I used Dangerous Beauty because Merrick and Liliana get married very early in the book, and they're married throughout the entire books, pretty much. So the third prompt was Devil Delight Roses, a book with a wedding in it. So for this one, I chose In Search of a Prince because there is a wedding in that book. The fourth prompt was Sunflowers, a Fortune 400 / wealthy socialite character. I used Emma to fulfill this prompt by Jane Austen. Hydrangeas, a character who is heartless / a villain. I used The Magician's Nephew by C.S. Lewis. The White Queen is pretty heartless. Lantana's, a character who goes on an adventure. I used Dear Henry Love Edith for this prompt because Edith goes to Africa. It's a pretty significant adventure. She goes on a mission trip over there. Carnations, a mother-daughter or mother-son story. For this one, I went with Stay With Me by Becky Wade, because the arc between Genevieve and her parents is very significant in this story. So the maternal-paternal dynamic is very much in that book. So Red Roses, read a romance. I got that covered. All That Really Matters, though, by Nicole Deese is what I used for that one. Peonies, a flawed character. We are going with If I Run by Terry Blackstock, because Dylan has PTSD. Violets, a hero who does not claim to be one. We have a lot of heroes in these books. Merrick is very much a selfless hero. Sam is definitely a selfless hero. Dylan, I think, is going to prove to be a selfless hero. And obviously Aslan is a hero. But yeah, so those are the prompts for the Shower Me with Flowers Readathon. Okay. I have also joined a few reading challenges, like the year-long ones, that I'm just going to tell you which ones I've joined, but I'm going to do a separate video where I talk about the prompts and I talk about the books that I'm going to be using for the prompts and kind of how I'm catching up to you guys, because I know I'm coming in late. It probably seems ambitious for me to be starting 3 reading challenges almost halfway through the year, because I'm 5 months behind the rest of you guys, but I figured out a way to catch up to y'all. So the 3 challenges I've joined are Oshina's Christian Romance Challenge, Katie's Read Around the World Challenge, and Chantel's Read Your Bookshelf Challenge. Stay tuned for that video, because I think I was originally going to include it in here, but I think that for the sake of time, I'm going to have to do that as a separate video. Hey guys, Editing Lucy hopping on one last time here. I just wanted to let you know that I decided, for the sake of time and storage on my phone, or lack thereof, however you want to look at it, I decided to delete the 3rd section of this video where I talk about the pile of possibilities from my April TBR, all of the books that the prompt jar prompted me to read, rather than try to refilm this because it's already very late. It's almost Mother's Day. And also to save myself the hassle of trying to figure out a way to make room on my phone. If you're curious about the books from my April TBR, let me know down in the comments. And if enough interest is generated, I will do that video separately. I think I'm getting tired. I think I need to go eat. I think I need to get ready to go to bed. I work in the morning. Let's go ahead and sign off. I have the Unpopular Opinions book tag coming. I am still planning to do the BookTube movie tag because some of you reached out and said that you would really like me to do that. I have a haul here. It's a cumulative haul, you guys. These are all the books I've gotten over the last couple of months from a couple free little libraries, the thrift store, and then we have a used bookstore here in our town that I got some of these from too. So, and it's a couple different trips to the half price books, but it's a cumulative haul. There are a lot of books in here. Holy cow, there are a lot of books. I also have to do an unhaul. It's Little Free Library Week next week, so I really want to try to do a little free library tour because I do have some books on my shelf that I need to unhaul, and I think that would be a really fun way to do that. I saw Anne over at In Search of Wonder. I saw her do that, do a little tour or a little free library tour, and it was really, really cute and fun. I'll link that video down below. Please go bless her with a sub too. She's super sweet. Her channel is such a delight. It's such a delight. The Mother's Day tag will probably be up before this one. I hope that you have a beautiful Mother's Day, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye-bye.